Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Maureen.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Jeanette.
And today we are talking about the Vampire Diaries and Originals top 10 favorite characters. Could throw legacies in there, but I haven't seen anything of that. So we're just not even going to bring up legacies. This is strictly the Vampire Diaries and the Originals. If some of these characters cross over to legacies, I mean, that's an incestuous family there. So it's bound to have crossover. So we are going 1 to 10, 10 being our least favorite of the 10 and 1 being our most favorite. Okay, so I will go first. I'm going to start. My number 10 is Lexi Steffensen. I like her because she's a decent vampire. Mm-hmm. Nice. And I prefer the humanity button.
Yeah.
I know that not everybody does, but I prefer the humanity portion. I
love
like it
Lexi.
when they go dark.
She's actually higher on my list.
Really?
Oh,
I thought I was going to be the only one to have her on my list.
she's not on my list.
No, she's number 8 on my list just because I really
her.
did like the addition of her character.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't, in very many.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get a ton of time with her.
I did wish we got more.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I love the actress as well, Ariel, but I feel like anytime that her presence was in the show, it was some sort of positivity of her changing something for the better, helping. Every time she came on screen, I just really enjoyed her.
Yeah. I would say too, and I mean, because we all know like Stefan's not my favorite character. I think he's pretty boring most of the time. Lexi always seemed to bring out a side of him that was a lot more enjoyable. It was happy and it was like this fun.
He was
loving,
fun.
Yeah. So I liked that about her a lot, that their friendship brought out a side of him that we didn't see very often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, Amanda? What was your number 10?
Everybody will hate my number 10. It's Stefan.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it's okay.
He's
If he was
5
higher,
for me.
if he was higher.
Okay, now if you guys were like, who's your favorite, like Stefan or Paul would probably almost be number 1 on my list.
Yeah.
And it needs to be pointed out that even Paul is not a huge fan of Stefan.
Yeah, I'm going based off characters here, not who I completely love in real life. And so everybody just know that ahead of time.
I think of the interview, it wasn't an interview, it was a panel that they did at I don't know if it was a Comic-Con or Vampire Diaries convention, but when they were asking who got the most action and David was like, Stefan, he's like, Stefan, I didn't get anything. All I did was cry all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how he'd rather be Damon. So, I mean, that's, I admit that I was Stelena. Still am kind of, but I'm leaning the other way simply because Stefan doesn't have much levity to him.
Nope.
I need a character that can have, and that's what Lexi brought to the table with Stefan, was made him more fun.
Yeah,
I agree.
But I love Stefan, and especially because I read the books first. Had to stop reading the books because they made me crazy because they stopped making sense. But
yeah, I've heard the books were just not.
Book Stefan is better than TV Stefan.
I've heard that too.
So
I've heard that too.
That's where my partiality came in to this show when I first started watching. Was I'm a Stefan fan, and then I really liked him season 1. I liked how he was with her season 1. I mean, beyond season 1, he started to like. Part of me just wanted to be like, dude, shut up already. But I like him still.
I mean, I'm that crazy person that I prefer Ripper Stefan because I think he's so much more entertaining.
Hey, Ripper Stefan. That's probably why he's 5 on my list, because he has that side.
And I like Silas when Paul gets to play, like when Paul can play like the bad guy. It's so entertaining. I love
Silas.
it.
What's
He's
Silas?
That's because you haven't got there yet.
Yeah,
It's another doppelganger. It's one of his doppelgangers. Where I guess Stefan is one of Silas's doppelgangers.
Yes, Silas is Stefan is one of Silas's.
Because Silas is the original Stefan guy, right?
Yeah. I think so.
I think so too. Him and Amara, was that her name?
Amara. Was she the original? Was she the original?
I think so.
They keep like adding on, and I don't.
Nice.
All right, Jeanette, who's your number? Who's your?
My number 10 is probably not on anybody's list. I don't think it's Cammie.
No,
because I don't think Amanda
not
likes
on my
her.
list.
And Amanda,
Not on my
Maureen, that
list.
you don't know her. So I think Maureen, I think you will like Cammie, actually.
Maureen will love Cammie. She'll be like, oh yeah. No.
Cammie for me, and I know a lot of people, there's the whole Klaus and Caroline storyline. It's fine and all.
It's supposed to be Caroline.
I thought that they had plenty of chemistry, like that was fine and all, but there was something about Cammie that brought out a side of Klaus that he wanted to be a good person for her. And so for me, like Caroline, she accepted who he was, and that's all well and good too. Cammie, I think it wasn't that she didn't accept who he was, but she pushed him like, yes, I accept you like this, but like, this is not your full potential. This is not what you can be. And so I think she is the reason that Klaus became not just a great villain that we all like to root for,
likable,
and, enjoy, but made him like you saw the softer side. Her and Hope, I think, in a combination is what caused you to see the softer side of him.
Hope, really, because he was still even the beginning of Hope.
Yeah,
but no, and I agree with you. I give you a hard time. I didn't hate Cammie.
Yeah.
Now I didn't want them to be endgame, and I felt like they got too serious when I didn't feel comfortable with them being serious, because I was still holding out this grand hope of Caroline coming to New Orleans and being with Klaus and living happily ever after. I mean, that's.
And I think most of the fan base agrees with you. I mean, there's way more Caroline fans than Camille. So
there are,
but I love her.
Man. Well, so number 9, Marie.
So my number 9 is actually Jenna. I struggle with Jenna sometimes because I really, really like her, and I like how protective she is of Elena and Jeremy. I wanted to call him Scott for some reason for a second. I like how protective she is of them, and she's smart. But there are other times she just annoys me with how clueless she gets.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed Jenna better if she was in the know. I felt like they played her just to be like a dumb character all the time, and I felt like she had a lot more to give than what they gave her. And
I was sad when she died, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that was horrible. I didn't really think she was gonna actually die.
Yeah, because nobody really dies with the Vampire Diaries. So,
oh my god, they bring everybody back, but Jenna, nope.
Jenna's the only one who doesn't get a second shot at life.
And what's so funny is here the person that has killed her is probably super high on mine and Amanda's list.
I imagine he is.
Yeah.
Hey,
he surprisingly high on mine.
He was in a bad mood. Okay.
I mean,
he probably was all the times he killed Jeremy too.
A few times.
Everybody killed Jeremy. I mean, Damon killed him like
I don't even know how many times Jeremy dies. I don't.
I wonder if the actor has kept track.
I don't know.
But
it's a lot.
Jenna has a lot of really redeeming moments, especially in that. I don't remember if she lasts 1 or 2 seasons. Does she only last in the first season? Because I feel like she has 2.
Yeah, because it's at the end of season 2 is when she gets killed, right?
Yeah.
So I really, especially in season 1, is my favorite Jenna. But I feel like by season 2, she should start figuring out that things are going on.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it takes her too long to figure things out. And I feel like as protective as she is over Elena and Jeremy, as protective as she is over the people she loves. And I really liked her and Alaric together.
I did too.
I did too. That really upset me. Like that they never even tried to bring her back in some kind of way. Like even when they opened the ghost world and stuff like that, I'm like, what? We never got to see her.
I know.
That has to be the actress didn't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you think so because it just works that way with everybody else.
I know. I feel like a lot of people came back, but Jenna was just
everyone
toast,
came back.
Yeah. And I think her and Alaric were one of my favorite couples. And I thought Alaric really deserved her, and I thought she really deserved him. And it was finally, especially after his ex-wife. Well, I don't know if she was technically his ex-wife because he thought she died.
Right.
So technically not really an ex. But after that, I felt like it was really nice for him to have Jenna. And also book Jenna. I really liked book Jenna.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my favorite Alaric relationship was with Jenna, even though I know that Joe was great and that gave him the girls, and obviously I loved her too, but I think I still preferred his chemistry with Jenna.
I did too.
He did have a lot of chemistry.
I think he was so hardened by the time he met Joe that
it was just
wouldn't
you be?
Yeah, I mean, like you've been through so much at that point.
Definitely.
Who's your number 9, Amanda?
Oh, Rebecca.
I do like her.
I love Rebecca. She's just, she's one of the boys. And I love that about her. But she's also such a girl.
Yeah.
And she loves
she's just one of those
hard.
I mean, her with her family, because she's 4 on my list. Okay. Like she sacrificed so much for them, like over and over again. Even when like I know there were several times she tried to kill Klaus, and every time it was deserved, in my opinion. Elijah. I don't think he ever tried to kill Klaus.
But didn't he put a stake in him to keep him sleeping?
That's different.
Yeah, but they all did that.
I mean, that's daggering them is a different thing. Like
it's not killing them; it's just putting them to sleep.
It's putting him away.
It's like a timeout. They're so. I mean, every once in a while you just need a little timeout.
Okay?
Hey, sometimes they just need it.
Sometimes you need a nap. Your toddlers when they're like they don't need a nap, but you're like you definitely need a nap. Yeah. Sometimes Klaus needed a nap. We all did.
Yeah.
No, but like I was telling Maureen before we started this that. Like, because I've got a lot of originals characters on my list, like all but 2, but a lot of them cross over. But if I had just seen in Vampire Diaries alone, Rebecca is the only one that would have made my list anyway. Even Elijah, because he didn't have any depth to him, I don't think at that point. And Cole and Klaus were just terrible. So I think like Rebecca is the only one that would have made my list from the Vampire Diaries. She may not have been number 4, but she would have made my list still.
Yeah. I know. I think Klaus would have still made my list. I really started loving Klaus like season 4.
I started liking him when he met Caroline.
And that, I mean, not really when he met her, but when she started giving him any kind of time of day. Like it made him seem like such a much better person.
Yeah.
When you got to see how he cared for somebody else. When Klaus cares about somebody, that's it. Like you're good, you're golden. Unless you piss him off.
Accurate.
Then you're gonna go to timeout.
Who was Rebecca the closest to?
Elijah.
Elijah, but also Klaus. I think it was both in different ways. I mean, I think her and Klaus fought more. Where Elijah
but they stuck together more.
Yeah, I mean they spent all those years together when Elijah wasn't with them. So I think it was just more of like they were closer. I mean, even growing up, they're closer in age. Elijah's the older brother, just like he's kind of the one who took care of him. So I think it was a different sort of like because even her and Cole were close too. I think she was close to all of them.
Yeah, just
in different ways.
I feel like all of them were just extremely close to each other, except Finn.
Nobody.
Sorry.
Wasn't Finn the worst of all of the Michelsons?
Yeah.
I don't know why I always want to call them the Michelsons. I don't know why.
I don't know.
No, Finn. Nobody likes Finn. Nobody liked him. I mean,
I like Esther better than I like Finn.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I think I do. Like, as far as characters go, at least she's interesting. Like he's like neither.
That's one word to attribute to her.
He's not likable or interesting.
I guess we're moving Michael up the list, or
I almost put Michael on my list as a joke.
What? Oh God.
The problem with that is that actor is like.
See, yummy. I don't even find him attractive.
So Michael?
Too old for me. Sorry.
Here's the thing, guys. Okay. And this is where like I used to watch General Hospital. Okay. Long time ago. Loved it. He was on there. He was still a villain. Like he like held them all hostage and shot a bunch of people, whatever. But we know that doesn't bother me. And he was so when I saw him on the originals, I was like, ooh. And I know he's terrible though. I don't like him though, but I like the actor.
He says to save face. I don't like him though.
I don't though, because he's mean to like Elijah and Klaus and Rebecca, and I can't like anybody that does that. So.
Oh, that one scene where he was saying all those awful, terrible things to Klaus, and I just wanted to punch him in the face and cry at the same time.
Yeah. See, I mean, he's not the same as Esther. I mean, at least Esther in her own weird way loved her children.
But Rebecca, I do like Rebecca a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know her very well, but I do like her a lot.
She's very loyal.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like her.
Beautiful.
But she's also one of those like, man, if you like get on her bad side,
Yeah.
Watch out.
But that's all the Michaelsons, isn't it?
Yes.
Because even
Yeah.
like when Damon stabbed Elijah,
Mhm.
They all have tempers.
Elijah wasn't real happy.
Yeah. I think Elijah probably controls his temper better than anyone else.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the other three, I mean, it's just watch out.
I wouldn't want to cross them.
No.
So Jeanette, who's your number 9?
My number 9 is one of my only 2 Vampire Diaries alone characters, and it's Enzo.
Okay.
He's on my honorable mentions. And I know I'll get freaking hate for that. And I know Enzo is one of the top people in a lot of people's lists.
I thought it was the top of Jeanette's. When we went to that convention, I thought Enzo was who she was in love with.
No.
I mean,
I
I like him a lot. He's just so like when he first came on the screen, I mean, we didn't know if he's good or bad, you know, and it was kind of, but I think I always liked him. I started liking him because I kind of was wanting him to be with Caroline. Like the scene that sticks out in my head more than anything is whenever Stefan had left and he was kind of living this life somewhere else as, you know, a regular person, and Caroline went to see him or something. And I guess he kind of blew her off. I can't remember all. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but I remember when Enzo gets back in the car and Caroline's crying, and just the look on his face, and he just hold on, and he like gets out and goes in there and just, I mean, defends her. And I wish there was potential, I think, in a couple there, and they never went there, and it always made me angry.
I did like that. I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And
I
love
that
like,
scene.
I think he said like he called her love. His voice is just.
He does have a really soothing voice. I really like his voice.
Yeah. And then
Even
him
in
and
person.
Bonnie, I mean, that was what Bonnie and Enzo are probably my third or fourth favorite couple of the whole Vampire Diaries universe. I love him.
I don't know. Like Enzo to me, just he was too cocky for me. And I say that because I mean, Damon is like very cocky.
Yes.
So is Klaus.
Yep.
Very cocky. But I don't know. When Enzo came in and did it, it felt like he was trying to take presence over Damon. And I didn't like how they I didn't like how he treated Damon. And so it just put a very bad taste in my mouth.
But why did he treat Damon that way? I mean, Damon
We don't want to talk about it.
that.
We don't want to talk about that. No, he's fine.
He did deserve it. And I love Damon.
He was being tortured. He saved his own life. I'm sorry, but
the thing is, Enzo would not, had the situation been reversed, he would not have
whatever.
He wouldn't have.
You don't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
You don't know that.
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure if it was his life or he was gonna die.
Pretty sure we know who Amanda's number 1 is.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. Damon's on my list way higher than this too, but I'm still like Enzo. I can love them both in the words
That's
of
true.
Catherine Pierce, right?
I mean, he's on my honorable mentions only because he's hot.
No, not just because he's hot. He's a good character.
And I did really love him with Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I will completely give him that. He made Bonnie happy. Finally, he understood her. And then they took it away, which somehow made me mad at Enzo. Don't ask me why.
You were mad at Enzo because he got murdered?
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Because Bonnie just freaking found happiness and then boom, got himself killed.
But how's that? He didn't get himself killed. I mean, Stefan ripped his heart out. What was he supposed to do?
Not put himself in that position.
By opening the door? This is all he did. He answered the door. Stefan knocked or whatever he did, and he answered the door.
Okay, well, you know what? It's Stefan. He's number 10 on my list. He has his issues.
Well, see,
You're the one who said you like Ripper Stefan.
That's well, that's true. Except when he murders Enzo. It's the one moment I don't like him.
No, I did. I was very mad at Stefan for quite a while when he did that. Only because Bonnie had just found happiness. And then it's like, rip it away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that.
Rip it away.
Rip it away by the Ripper.
Yep.
Honestly, for me, anyone who defends Caroline at any moment is someone who I like.
That moment is just a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Enzo was loyal. He was a good friend to everyone, even the people that didn't deserve it, like Lily Salvatore. I mean, like he was loyal to her, and she definitely didn't deserve it. But I think that's who he was. Stand by Insel.
He's pretty.
So my number 9, or not number 9, moving on to number 8. My number 8 is Alaric. And I know that some people don't like him later on. I know that some people don't like him as a, the actor, but I love Alaric. And I was actually frustrated that he was so different from the books when he came on. But I ended up so I kind of fought liking him. I was like, no, this isn't who he's supposed to be. Because in the books, Alaric was actually with Bonnie. And that was.
Yeah, I knew that from the books.
Okay.
And he was much younger in the books. Okay. So I was upset that he was a teacher. And then I was like, how's he going to stop it? So for a while.
Later on.
I know, it didn't stop. Well, I mean, kind of.
While she was in high school, he didn't date her, which is what it was supposed to be in the book. So I was really creeped out that he was a teacher, and I knew Bonnie was a student, and I was really, really worried. So I didn't like him for a while, but the more he was on screen, the more I liked him. I mean, I thought he was shady at first because, we didn't really know. And
they wanted us to think
so much from the books to the show that I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was when he killed Vampire Logan, right? What was his name? Logan?
Logan Phil.
Yeah, Logan Phil.
Because that was Jenna's boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
And a lot. Yeah. So that was the moment I was like, okay, I like you. I'm friends with you now. So and he's just he's a really nice guy. He is aware of what's going on. So he's able to actually be more of a beneficial help to people in that town than say Jenna, who has her head in the sand.
Yeah.
So I like that about him. And I like that he has fight to him. He doesn't, even in the face of all these scary things, he doesn't back down. He doesn't hide. He doesn't run. It's a lot of now. Everyone goes, he's like almost like the oracle for non-vampire people.
Yeah.
No, I like Alaric. I mean, honestly, the reason y'all are going to find that these Vampire Diary characters are not on my list, it's because there wasn't room for them with all of my originals characters. Like, I like Alaric. Like, I like him a lot, actually.
I go back and forth with Alaric. I really do. And he never did anything to make me dislike him. You know what? When Alaric was Vampire Alaric and Dark Alaric,
yeah,
I don't feel like
I not like that.
I know. I don't feel like I ever fully recovered. Like it kind of always just put a bad taste in my mouth, even though I know it wasn't like him, and but now that I have seen that side of Alaric, he can't be on my top 10. He can't.
Yeah.
And the whole teacher thing didn't bother me because I
didn't mind him as a teacher. I was sketchy at first because I didn't know how they were going to make this teacher be with his student. And
it worked for Ezra and Arya.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew someone was going to say it. That's different. I don't know why it's different, but it's different.
Because she lied to him.
Right.
And because we love Ezra.
Of course.
It helps that they're the same age in real life, I think.
Yeah, that does help.
So I didn't mind,
at least.
I didn't mind Alaric as a teacher. I actually ended up liking him as the teacher because he still was that wealth of knowledge and it kind of fit with that. But it just, because when I watched that, I had just finished reading those books. By finish, I mean, I stopped when it got annoying. But I had read through like the first, I think I read through 4 of them before I was like, no. So that's what I was coming off of. And I really loved the relationship that they had with Bonnie and Alaric. So I was really skeptical of him in that position at first, but I did like him as a teacher eventually.
Yeah.
I did not really like Vampire Alaric at all. That was the worst part about the show for me, was when he became a vampire, because I loved him so much.
That was hard because I kind of always did want him to become a vampire. Of course, I want everybody to become a vampire in Vampire Diaries. I mean, that's just kind of the show.
You need them to be like, okay and good, like when they're vampires.
Yeah, I wanted him to be like a cool vampire.
Yeah,
not like an evil vampire that tries to kill my favorite people. Like, you just like got yourself bonked down a couple of pegs in my book. But I don't know. I liked him in Legacies.
I like him. I really liked him in Legacies. I mean, like the dad role, suits him. Like, I think it brought out the best in him.
Yes, and I love how he kind of raises Hope as his own.
Yeah,
and kind of has taken over that parentship that Haley and Klaus should have been here to see. But I don't love Alaric in the Vampire Diaries. We don't ever see him in the originals, but I love him in Legacies.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So there's my thoughts. Who's next?
You're next.
My number 8. That was Lexi.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but I can give you an honorable mention.
Do it.
Rose, because I don't think she'll be on anybody's list.
Oh, she's not, but man, did I love Rose. I didn't even think about
I
her.
loved Rose, and I wish she stuck around more. Do you remember Rose, Maureen?
Rose is the only person that, even though, I mean, we know I'm big time Delana till the end, whatever. But the
Yeah,
moment,
no, I know where you're going. And
I
agree
remember
with you.
her. Rose
The
was the girl
moment-
who's on Walking Dead too, right?
yes.
Yes.
And she was on
I did like
Supernatural.
her. I
She's
liked her.
Bella,
I never
too.
watched Supernatural, but I did like her a lot.
I almost
Yeah.
wanted, like, I thought for a second, like, wait a minute. I kind of like Damon with her. Like, I wish,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, it was the only person that I ever felt that way about, as far as
Her
either one of them.
death was real hard to watch.
Yes.
It was really hard. I think I cried a little bit when just the two of them in that. It just, that was really hard.
Mhm.
Yeah. What was that?
I was like, thought, I have this whole story figured out when I first met her, and it was not what I thought it was. I thought Katherine turned her at first.
Yeah. I think I remember thinking that too.
I didn't really understand what was going on, but I was really surprised when we found out that it was Rose that turned Katherine, because Katherine's been, villain from day one.
Yep.
In the Vampire Diaries, and now we're figuring out so much even more of her backstory that came from a completely different unsuspecting place.
Yeah.
That was a very fun. I felt like they quit surprising us as much towards the end, but I did like their little surprises like that every now and then when they did that.
Yeah.
All right. Jeanette, number 8.
I get to reveal I think my other original character that you were not thinking of. My number 8 is Davina.
Okay. So she is one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Because I really do love Davina, and she gets a bad rap.
She does. I don't really understand why people don't like her. Well, I mean, it's because she goes against Klaus. The thing is, for me, I can be a Klaus fan, but I can also recognize that he's not good to people. And so when people want revenge, it's okay for them to want that revenge. Now, I'm still not, like, I still love him, but like, I'm cool with like Davina and Marcel, all of them wanting to do bad things to Klaus because he deserves it. Like, even though I love him. But Davina, like, if we're talking witches, I think she's my favorite witch of the whole TVD universe.
I agree with that.
Even over Bonnie, and I know that that's crazy, but like, I really love her character.
I completely agree with Davina being my favorite witch.
I mean, maybe
she
Hope
really was,
but like, Hope's her own thing, so I don't even put her in that like category. But
yeah, Hope I did put down as an honorable mention just because
she's on my honorable mentions too.
I felt like I just needed to have her in there because I really, really,
I love Hope.
Do love Hope.
Yeah,
like I think she's a fantastic character.
Yeah,
I don't think they were giving. I feel like, I mean, I hate saying it. I feel like the writers could write her up more.
No, I agree
than
with that.
what they do.
Yeah,
I feel like she has a lot more potential
she
to give out.
She had a better, like, I mean, her powers and all of her stuff. I think this is the baby that like stopped Cammie's car dead, like just stopped it to keep her from being blown up. And she's an infant at the time, like still in a rear facing car seat. And she was able to do this. So like, they didn't live up to her potential, in my opinion. Absolutely. Not from what I've seen. I'm not caught up. So maybe they do. I don't know.
Apparently she gets better, and I haven't seen it yet either.
Yeah.
But I would have expected more from her at a younger age than what we got, just because of her background and heritage. Like, I feel she should have been stronger.
If you think about, like, here we were talking about Davina, if you think about her at like the age that probably Hope is in like the beginning of the Legacies, I mean, Davina's powerful. I mean, she's badass. And then that's what I love about her. But I also love that like her character is complex in that she is that, but she's also so innocent that she definitely portrays the 16-year-old girl well too. Like she's got that innocence about her as well. And I love her relationship with Cole. I mean, I think she was another person that brought out the best in him and caused him to want to be a good person. So I love Davina. The fans, I mean, I don't know if I mean, like in our groups, I mean, people really dislike Davina, and I never
don't understand it.
I love
I really I really do think that it is just because that she goes against Klaus, but I kind of agree with you.
So many people do, though, or at least try to.
He deserves
Exactly.
it.
But she's the closest. I mean,
She almost takes him out. I mean,
she almost takes him out. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like her, which I just honestly really don't understand, because she redeems herself in that matter. I don't understand the hate for Davina. She was amazing.
I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. Wasn't there something after like Cole was taken and like they were supposed to try to get, and I mean, like here, I feel like there was something there too that they didn't, like they kind of didn't even really fight to get him back at that point. And here they had kind of promised her they would. I may be completely wrong. I need to do a rewatch because I'm not remembering the storyline exactly.
Number 7 for me is Cole. And it's a surprising reason that Cole is my number 7. One, because I love Nathaniel. I love that. I think that man's awesome. I want to be his friend so bad. But the scene that made me like him, I was telling Jeanette before we started, was the scene in the beginning of, I think it was the beginning of season 3, because that's Ripper Steffen comes out in season 2, right? Or is it season 3 when Ripper Steffen comes out? 3. Yeah, so it's the opener then, because it's when Damon is going to go look for him. And then we find Cole in one of the apartments, and he's like, there's a woman like up on a wall.
Is that when he's got that baseball bat? Like he's kind of, yeah.
It's a super gruesome scene and usually not my bag. But Cole said something that made me laugh out loud. And Cole's the one who did it to her. He said something that made me laugh out loud. And I don't remember what it is right now, but it was so funny. I would really like to see more of this guy. Cole, even though he's horrendously violent, and Ripper Steffen is my least favorite version of any of the vampires on the show. That was my favorite part of seeing Cole.
He's actually my number 7 on my list too. But I will say my 5, 6, and 7, I just switched around because like they are sort of interchangeable. I couldn't decide how I wanted them, but I put Cole there. But for me, TBD Cole would not make my list. He was funny.
Yep.
That's what he's on. If you're funny, you're going to be on my list somewhere.
So like on my list, I have Cole.
Mine says the originals Cole.
Yeah. Mine says Cole, and I have parentheses only
honorable mentions
because it's the only one that makes my list. And honestly, like it's hard, but I think I would put Daniel Sharman above Nathaniel, but only by a little bit.
See, I haven't met Daniel Sharman yet, so
he's just a really fun-loving. He's a fun-loving version of Cole, but it's Cole without all of his vamp powers. So I mean, he can't be the same guy that he was.
I just like Cole's sarcasm and humor. Like
he's still got that. I mean, it's still, because you think about Isaac, he's basically Isaac Leahy. I mean, if I'm being honest, don't you think, Amanda? I feel like they're very similar character.
Isaac is one of my favorite people on Teen Wolf. Like
you'll love Witch Cole then.
You will.
And I think that what really, like, because I thought that scene was funny before, but then when we met Nathaniel, it just kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna like anything you do now.
And if you like thinking about like the Michaelsons, I mean, Cole is definitely the oddball out. And he goes against, and I think he gets more hate than the others.
I've noticed that.
And I think it's because of just, I mean, again, it's the same thing of like going against Klaus and all this, but it's like what you all have to realize, and this is what I try to think about. I mean, Klaus kind of treated Cole like crap. And so Cole doesn't feel the loyalty to him, not in the beginning. I think by the end of the show, he definitely does. But in the beginning, he does not feel the same loyalty that Elijah and Rebecca feel towards Klaus. And I don't think he has to. I mean, it's not deserved.
Absolutely not. No, I agree with that. Just, I feel like with Cole, with the Vampire Diaries Cole, I loved him because I do love Nathaniel, but he did a lot of bad stuff.
He did
really bad.
He was so funny.
He made me laugh a lot of the times while I was mad at him.
Almost tried to like justify the bad things he did because he was so funny.
That's me with Klaus. Every single time I watch.
Klaus did just as many bad things.
Yeah.
In TBD, if not more. I mean, he killed Aunt Jenna. I mean, like, I don't know how much worse.
Klaus did a lot of bad stuff. And I still love him.
I do too. I mean, I definitely do. So I get it. But
so what's the difference for you guys between the Vampire Diaries Cole and the original Cole? What makes you like the originals one over the Vampire Diaries one?
Just depth.
Amanda, you're starting to explain it. But
no, I was just saying that like they're on the originals, you got to see, like Jenna said, Cole without the vamp. And that it really did change him. Now he did have his witch powers, which I feel like suited him more.
I agree.
I mean, I was like, whoa, like he is a total, I can't say that word, kick butt.
I already said it, I'm pretty sure. So yeah.
I've probably already said it too, because that's how I feel like a lot about characters on the show. But he was really awesome in Vampire Diaries.
But I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think that one of the main things about the originals and all of the Michaelsons is you get to know the backstory. You get to know what makes them tick. You get to see this depth in their characters of what made them into the people that they are. So you can feel for them, and you can then excuse some of the bad behavior, because at least you're seeing how they got to that point. And I think that's key.
With Cole on the originals, getting to see him with Davina also, not just with the witch powers, not just without the vamp. He was looser, funnier, and seeing him with Davina just really did bring out a completely even different side of him, where you got to see him being in love and protective and all those things that come out with that, which you didn't really get to see any of that in the Vampire Diaries with Cole. True. I think Cole could have been a lot bigger character in the Vampire Diaries.
I wish
they would have kept it on. I think they could have done it easily.
I was actually really disappointed that we didn't get to see him and Davina in Legacies ever.
I know,
because I would have really liked that.
I know Rebecca came in.
We saw Rebecca, but we never saw, Cole come and visit her.
All right, Amanda, who's your number 7?
Ooh, my number 7 is well, we haven't talked about her yet. My number 7 is Bonnie.
Okay.
And I feel bad that she's so far down my list, but
she's only an honorable mention for me.
I don't like Bonnie
because I have so many originals characters.
Bonnie pissed me off a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. And I feel like she has to be on my list, because when she was good, she was so good. And whenever she would do something to save the day, you loved her so much. So that's why she's on my list. And that's why she's number 7 on my list. But man, Bonnie could make me mad.
Yeah. I like Bonnie. Like, honestly, I toyed with where my spot that I put Enzo in. I toyed with, do I put Bonnie, Caroline, Enzo? Like, those 3, I kept going back and forth. Which one do I put in here? And I chose Enzo just because I like him better. But yeah, I mean, I love Bonnie. Sorry, none of these characters can compare to the Michaelsons in my eyes. So I can't. If we'd had a top 20, she'd been there.
No, she has to be on my top 10. I loved her a lot of the moments. And she did save my man several times.
Her friendship with Damon is one of my favorite things in the entire world.
That I'll give you.
Yes.
Bonnie on her own, I don't like her. She annoys the crap out of me. But I liked her and Damon's friendship.
Yep.
Mostly because of what Damon brought to the table, what Damon brought out of her. It had nothing to do with Bonnie, really. It was just, I like, because the beginning of their friendship, it was Damon getting under her skin, and that was amusing to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeanette, who's your number 7?
It was Cole. So
cool. Well, that's right. All right. So my number 6 is Klaus.
So is mine.
Why is it so down?
So Jeanette and I have Klaus for 6. Where's he at on your list?
2. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right behind Damon. Yeah.
That's my man.
You're going to be real mad at who my number 5 is then. But what I like about Klaus is you can just see that he has this interpersonal fight within himself. And I like him with Caroline. I prefer Caroline with someone else, but I really like who Klaus is when he's with Caroline. And that one scene, every time I think of Klaus, the one thing that sticks out is when Michael is there at the door and says all those horrible things to him, and Klaus starts to get emotional. Like, I want to hug him. And you can just tell that so much of the evil that's in him stems from a trauma from before he was a vampire and trauma at the beginning of his vampiric life. And it's almost like, he does a lot of the same bad things that Cole does, but it's like a lot of it. And I'm sure it's the same with all the Michaelsons, because I mean, they look at their parents.
Yeah, it's just all trauma. Yeah.
It's just trauma. But it's almost like Klaus is the one who's most emotionally damaged from it, is what it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, Michael was the meanest to him. I mean,
because he's half werewolf.
Right. Like the others, I think he was tough on him. He was, whatever, but he was mean. to Klaus.
Mm-hmm. So my instinct is to protect him more than some of the other ones because like Elijah can handle himself.
Yes.
But poor Klaus, I just feel like he's that kid in the corner who just keeps getting kicked over and over again by the people who are supposed to protect and love him.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Most of the bad things that he does is more about a protection. I mean, he won't let anyone get close to him. He does these bad things because he doesn't want anyone to love him. And I think that's what it is. I mean, it's all about a protection. He won't let anybody be close to him, which is why I love Cammy, because she breaks down that wall.
The other scene I think of with Klaus is when Stefan and Damon are trying to get back at him and they take all of his family members' bodies that were in the coffins in the truck that he kept.
I love when they pull one over on Klaus. Anytime somebody does it and they make him mad, ooh, I'm like, ooh, Klaus is gonna get mad.
Mm-hmm.
He did lose his temper a little bit that time. I remember him on the phone. I loved it. That was so funny. Just that he just kept his family in a truck.
Hey man, he knew where they were.
Yeah.
Safe.
So he's loyal to his family too.
Yeah, I mean, Klaus is loyal to his family to a certain point.
Oh,
I mean, if anybody was going to kill them, he's going to kill them. Like nobody else.
Yeah,
can
I mean,
kill him.
nobody else is allowed to kill him.
Yeah,
I can't take you seriously with that filter. All right. So Amanda, who's your number 6?
My number 6 is Haley.
She's not my number 6.
What is
She's
she?
Number what?
Number 2.
I was going to say, I know she's going to be way higher on your list.
She's like, I mean, her and Elijah are like tied for my favorite. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
really, I picked him only because he's hot. Like, that's the only reason he gets the leg up on her, because Haley
That's
is
also
like,
why Ruzak made it above Kim.
look at me. Got my priorities straight.
You said that exact same thing in the Chicago characters one. The only reason that Ruzak's above Kim is because he's hot.
Not that Haley and Kim are not hot, because they definitely are. But, you know, I like dudes, so. So Elijah and Adam win. I just revealed
Just
my
spit all over my computer.
I'm sorry.
No.
Why that was funny to me, but it was funny to me.
Haley should be higher on my list.
I mean, she should be, if I'm being honest.
But I do have to say, I'm going through a TVD rewatch right now.
Well, she's not good in TVD.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it will change. If I'm on the originals rewatch, she'll be higher. It's just because right now I'm on a Vampire Diaries rewatch, so she's a little bit lower.
In my opinion, baddest chick in all of like Vampire Diaries universe. You wouldn't want to mess with her for sure. And her loyal, I don't know. See, I mean, I can talk her up here because she's my number 2.
Go for it.
I mean, her loyalty to not just Hope. I mean, imagine being in her position. You know, you had a one night stand with this crazy werewolf guy that you never expected to do anything else. And then like you're having a baby, and like she wants this baby. She wants to fight for this baby from the beginning, where, I mean, Klaus tries to have the baby killed. I mean, he wants it dead.
That was actually a really fun progression of that episode.
Yeah. And you know,
Yep.
and then I like the way she loves Klaus. I mean, obviously the way she loves Elijah, but Elijah I feel like is easy to love. And so that came easy. Because I would like venture to say, I think Klaus and Haley, if we're talking soulmates in the show, they are soulmates, just not romantically. They're platonic, like co-parenting soulmates. But I think
Absolutely.
And she accepted him. I mean, she never took his crap. She called him out when it needed to be called out.
Yep.
But she loved him. And I
But
mean,
I think that's why we love Haley. Is
I
because she never let any of the Michelsons walk all over her.
No.
Never any of them.
Right.
But
But
she
from the
stood her
moment,
ground.
yeah. But also from the moment she was there, I mean, she was a Michelson.
Yeah.
And she proved herself to be one, and she was as loyal as all of them are to each other as well.
Absolutely.
I love Haley.
I do. I mean, I really do too. And I wish there's just too many people I like.
I know it was hard.
Put in an order. So Haley is definitely one. Well, some of these characters would stay at their numbers or go even maybe a little bit lower. Haley will flip flop with me.
Yeah, come back to us once you've watched some originals again.
Yeah,
it'll be
she'd
different.
probably move up to 3 if I was watching the originals.
All right, so Jeanette's number 6 is also Klaus. My number 5, which means that I love them a little more than Klaus, is Stefan.
Oh.
I'm guessing Stefan didn't make either one of your lists at all.
It's like crickets.
No, we already
over
talked.
here.
He was number 10 on my list.
Oh, that's right. I like
He
Stefan.
was number 10. Stefan's not Paul.
That's absolutely true. I prefer Paul over Stefan, hands down.
I do too.
Because I mean, Paul's personality is my personality, and I gravitate towards that. That sounded really egotistical. That's not what I meant. I just meant I really enjoy the sarcasm. I can understand sarcasm.
I mean, Stefan definitely has his good points. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Stefan is loyal, and Stefan is, when you are someone that he loves, he's going to fight for you, to the end. So
And he wants to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
he's not a bad guy.
No,
he's not always great at it.
He's just a really boring character, in my opinion.
Like he says himself, he's crying all the time.
He just doesn't do it for me.
I need to watch the interview again. I watch it like once every couple months, not even on purpose. It's just sent to me like once every couple months.
Yep. Usually every time I come across it, I send it to the group.
I think
I laugh every
get it
single
from.
time. And if I laugh over something, I'm just going to send it to you guys, even if you've seen it before.
Same. All right, Amanda, what is your number 5? Who is your number 5?
My number 5 is Caroline.
She's
I
not
love
on my
Caroline.
list,
But
I love her.
she had so much character growth, and that's something
I agree with that.
we all love.
Definitely.
She had I don't want to say the most.
I think
She
did
had
have
probably
enough.
one of the most
I would agree with
character
that.
growths on the show.
Mhm.
Because because I told you I was doing a rewatch, and I was just watching her in season 1 not long
It's
ago,
awful.
and I'm like, why
Mhm.
didn't we not kill her off?
Yeah.
And then when it starts going, I'm like, oh, this is why, because she turns out to be like a really awesome
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
It's for who she turns out to be that she's my number 1.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Because the first season,
Yep.
Caroline, I kind of had the same feelings like, oh my gosh, shut up already. Stop being so self-focused. But
Yeah.
then as she started getting confused about what was happening, and then after I actually like her as a vampire.
Oh, I do
Way
too.
more than I did as
She's
a
a
human
better
being.
vampire.
Mhm.
Yes.
And she is because I think as a vampire, I think Caroline in season 1, before she becomes a vampire, I think she's so insecure.
Yes.
And it's not that she's selfish and egotistical and only cares about herself. It's that she thinks so lowly of herself and thinks that other people would too if she slips up even a little bit. So she has to be this persona. And when
Mhm.
she's not, she has like panic attacks and meltdowns. But as a vampire, she doesn't have that insecurity. She's very certain of herself as a vampire. She's very.
Yeah, I feel like I like everybody more as a vampire when it comes to like any of the vampire shows. I always want everybody to turn into a vampire, and I'm not
Say
happy
that.
until everybody does.
But Caroline is a much better vampire. And the way she fiercely protects her people as a vampire, it's like she understands this is what I am now. So this is my job is to protect. And I actually, the one who I really like her with is Tyler.
That's my favorite Caroline ship. I agree with that.
Yep,
I really, really like their relationship.
they
And
brought out
she
the best
came-
in each other.
They did. And before she became a vampire, like she was kind of, the relationship was kind of a little weird because it was a high school relationship and he was
Mhm.
borderline abusive because he didn't know he was a werewolf and, just all that stuff. But when they both came into their own, I really wanted them to be more permanent
Mhm.
because they understood who they were and
I
they were
agree.
better once they understood who they were. And Caroline didn't put up with any of his crap. And like we said, she didn't put up with any Stefan's crap either. So it was just, she's just such a strong character and her arc was so great for me that she's my number 1.
I agree. Honestly, that it didn't even quite hit me that I think this is the reason I don't like her with Klaus is because I liked her so much with Tyler.
Mhm.
And the fact that, okay, yes, we know I love Klaus. Everyone loves Klaus. Cool. But Klaus murdered Tyler's mother.
Mhm.
So how you could love someone who, and they all did bad things, but this person murdered another person that you supposedly loves mother. So that's a hard one for me to wrap my mind around and like actually root for Caroline and Klaus as a couple for that reason, I think.
Klaus and Caroline is my second favorite of hers because I haven't seen her with Stefan though.
I liked her with Stefan though. That's my second favorite. I don't
I've
know.
heard that Stefan and Caroline were great, but I didn't see
Because
them
I
together.
think she made Stefan like likable at the end.
Mhm.
I just felt like as soon as
But
Caroline and Stefan got together, it was just like married couple boring.
He was already boring, so it was bound to happen that way.
And I mean, like they were married for like a day.
But it's because it's because of the Cammy and Klaus thing. I mean, I just love them so much that
Okay, so
Right.
Caroline was your number 5. Your number 5 was what, Jeanette?
Marcel.
Oh, okay.
I love Marcel, and
He's
he's
a
another
good-looking
one.
dude.
he's another one that people do not like. And I think
it's because of how he is with the Michelsons.
It's the same reason, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can not like him, because we don't necessarily not like Elijah when he gets mad at Klaus and does stuff. We don't dislike Rebecca when she does this.
Yeah, but they're
I mean,
Michelsons.
Which
I guess Marcel kind of is too.
Marcel is a Michelson.
Not by blood,
Yeah.
though.
Not by blood, but I don't think that matters. I think
By raising, though.
Plus, I mean, he broke off in New Orleans, and then he came against them when he was pushed.
Well, they came, but
I said when he was pushed.
They came and took his town. They left, and he took over that place and made it great. I mean, I'm on his side on this.
Did he make it great, though?
No, he did make it great. He was terrible to the witches in there.
Well, he wasn't good to the witches, but
or the werewolves.
Well, but he was good to the vampires. And do we think that Klaus actually cares what's going on with the werewolves or the witches?
But that's the point, is he wouldn't have cared. Marcel cared, and he made sure to keep everyone in where he wanted them.
It made it a little inconvenient for my favorite storylines when werewolves couldn't go into New Orleans. Like,
well, I agree, but I'm just saying
that's the only reason Marcel's on my honorable mentions list.
Oh,
he's only on there because he's extremely good looking.
And his character, I mean, if we're being honest, his character is fun to watch, though.
It is. I really do. By the end of the originals, like, well, not the very end, but I mean, like, as the originals goes on, I do like Marcel more and more. Like, we have our ups and downs, and whatever, just like any character. He's on my list. He's just an honorable mention because I like other people more.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I do love Marcel.
Well, I mean, once you see like what Klaus, I mean, think about like what Klaus did to him and Rebecca. Like, there's no wonder that, like,
I have to stop saying, look at what Klaus did, because I mean, you could say that about literally any situation with Klaus.
I think it applies. So I think that people need to take that into consideration and give these other characters a pass. Same thing can apply to Damon. Damon does a lot of really crappy stuff.
What?
But I do love him, and that's okay. But you need to also be able to recognize the flaws of these people.
Oh, absolutely.
Damon has no flaws.
I think
he has so many flaws.
I think Klaus and Damon just
swing
so wildly. It's almost like it's impossible to be like, you just have to be like, all right, they're equal parts bad and good. You just have to accept that.
Yeah.
Just don't get on their bad side, okay?
Right.
And even when you're on Damon's bad side, like, ooh, that accent came out weird. Even when you're on Damon's bad side, like, sometimes he still protects you. But he gets upset with himself for doing it. He'll still do it, though.
He will.
All right, so number 4 for me was actually Tyler.
Okay, he's not on my list.
I love Tyler. I don't like him in season 1 because I watched this twice. The Walking Dead, the Vampire Diaries. I watched it when it was in regular syndication, and I for some reason remembered him being physically abusive to Caroline, but that didn't actually happen.
No, he was abusive to Vicky.
Yes, that's what I meant, to Vicky. But I didn't remember seeing that as hardcore. But still, he was. And even with Caroline, like he emotionally abused Caroline.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really like him at first, but it was because he had all these things going on that he didn't know about, and he had no control over it. But then when Mason came to town, Mason is an honorable mention for me because I did actually like Mason Lockwood.
I do too.
Mason, although Mason kind of was a little dark horse, he still helped Tyler get to where he needed to be to understand who he was, what he was, and how to work within it. And once Tyler understood who he was and what he was, I think his character became great. Yeah. He wanted to protect people. He wanted to be a good guy. I was really sad when they didn't continue him on as much as they should have.
I'm going to give my rebuttal. Okay.
Oh boy.
Because I love Tyler, like, up to a certain point. I loved him. Like, he was great. I blame the writers for this. Okay. They took a turn with him.
They did.
And totally ruined his character. You probably haven't seen it yet. I mean,
then that's why.
The part that bothers me the most is, okay, so not only, like, he had a relationship with Haley.
He pissed me off in the originals.
I never saw that.
Okay, so this is how Haley gets introduced. She is the vampire, or she's the werewolf that teaches him to control his hybrid and not be sired to Klaus. Okay?
Was she introduced in the Vampire Diaries?
Yes. This is where her and Klaus hook up. Yeah.
What season was that?
Whenever he's making all the hybrids.
4.
Right before the original.
It was 4.
I only got a couple episodes into 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 4 because
where I met Haley was the first episode of the originals.
Yeah, she's not in TVD very long, But her and Tyler are friends. They have like, did they ever actually do anything together? I know Caroline's really jealous thinking, but I don't think they ever
I don't
hooked
think
up or
so.
did anything. So then in the originals, he later comes and he is there to kill Hope, to kill her baby before she is born.
Oh, I never
Yeah.
saw him on the
And
originals.
I get that it's because he thinks that Klaus, which I mean Klaus probably does in the back of his mind somewhere, think that he can make more hybrids with this, whatever. I'm sure it's in the back of his mind. But either way, the Tyler that we knew on the Vampire Diaries would never be ready to murder an unborn child in general, and definitely not of someone who he considered
Not
a friend.
Haley's. No.
So it once you see that part in the originals, come back to it, because I think your opinion, because I love
Yeah.
Tyler a lot, actually.
Yep.
I love, it's kind of, maybe it's the same for Cole for me, is that
Mhm.
I love Tyler on the Vampire Diaries. I do.
Yeah.
This is my only reason. Otherwise, he would have made my list had that storyline never happened.
Absolutely. He really, I'm
Haley's
still
my girl.
mad.
Well, great. Now I get to look forward to the originals ruining one of my favorite characters.
Mhm.
Thanks a
Sorry.
lot.
Join the club.
Welcome.
Amanda, who's your number 4?
Oh, Jeanette's going to hate me for this one. It's Elijah. I'm sorry.
He's in the top 4. I can't ask for any better than that. That's fine. I'm
He's
cool.
4. And
Yeah,
I
that's good.
guess because, oh my gosh. Never mind.
No, she's thinking about Daniel Gillies right now. I can see her head. Right now.
I see Daniel Gillies is another reason why I
Beyonce.
love Elijah so much. He's my number 2.
Ooh.
And I debated between putting Caroline number 1 or number 2 and Elijah number 1 or number 2. I debated between those two a lot. But I love Daniel Gillies' personality so much that it's really hard to not like anything he does. And like he has this way when he's in character of speaking that it's super, super dry, but he's being funny.
He's like, I just love him. And I mean,
Yeah.
And he's so
Even it's-
responsible.
I mean, he's obviously my number 1. I think I've already said this. I don't need to say it again. My future husband. No, but my real husband.
Okay, wait. For those of you who don't know, Amanda and I went to a Vampire Diaries convention last year, and we brought Jeanette's head with us. Not her physical head, a paper head, to be clear. And we told him that she couldn't come because her silly kids had to needed her or something.
Birthday or something. Yeah.
That's
And
important.
he said that wasn't a good enough reason to miss him.
I agree.
But she said, we told him that she said if he would agree to marry her, she would leave her husband for him. And he was like, okay, let's do it. So
we're engaged technically.
she's engaged to Daniel Gillies. He doesn't know that she's not going to leave her husband, but he doesn't need to know.
Doesn't need to. But no, my actual husband, I think he would agree. Like I remember even he loved Elijah when because he watched these shows with me, and that was
Fun to watch. He's magnetic on the screen.
so amazing.
Just him. I can
Him.
just see him in a
Imagine him
suit and
Unbuttoning-
just like holding hearts. Like
when he's
just
like red.
oh.
Well, before he does all that, he's got to unbutton that suit jacket to get
Yep.
ready. And then that's when it's business. If he's unbuttoning his suit jacket, you might want to run because he's about to cause carnage.
Really, how fast can you run
And then
from
he'd
him?
wipe his hands off with this little handkerchief.
Oh.
So wonderful.
I love whenever he unbuttons that suit jacket. You're like, oh, here it comes.
I haven't seen enough of the originals. Like I said, I only got a couple episodes in when Amanda and I went to that convention. But my favorite, the scene where I meet him is in Vampire Diaries when Damon stakes him because Damon's not sure who he is. And then Elijah just takes it out and he's like, well, something along the lines of, that wasn't very nice or something like that. He's going to go after Damon. It's just that personality of he's very business. Only he's very typical big brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I love it. I'm here for it.
Love every second of everything he does.
He's my favorite dude in this universe. Caroline's my
far.
favorite lady in the universe.
I can't wait for you to watch the originals and decide if Haley becomes your favorite lady.
She might, because I already did like her when I met her on the originals. I really liked her a lot. All right.
Sorry.
So your number 4 was Elijah. Who's your number 4, Jeanette?
My number 4, I'm gonna pull my list back up. I set it aside. Rebecca.
We already talked about Rebecca.
Mhm.
Okay.
Did.
Okay. My number 3, I'm sorry, Amanda, but he's still the top 3, is Damon.
That's my number 3 as well.
We have a lot of the same ones. Look at her face.
Look, I've already told you what my 1 and 2 is. That's as good as it could get for Damon.
All right. Well, Damon's my number 1 because he gives good hugs.
So he's Damon.
That's not where I thought you. Oh.
Okay, listen, we're gonna be real here. When Damon came on the screen,
I didn't know where this was going.
episode 1, I could
Hello,
not
brother.
stand him.
Oh,
I could
was the
not
same way.
stand Damon.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this guy? I was all about Stefan. Of course, you were in the moment.
see, you call yourself a fan. Damon had me from the moment I saw his face.
No,
I thought it was the
now-
Hello Brother that got you.
Oh,
Well,
so
that gets me too, but you know.
I immediately was like, I like him, like good, like looks wise,
It's those
all there.
eyes.
And I mean, once he said hello, brother, I was like, oh yes, it's gonna get good. Then he just kept being an a-hole.
But I
I'm
like that in a
man.
man. So
I just I remember not loving Damon the first episode. Now, second,
Okay.
third, fourth, fifth, it just continuously goes up, and the rest is history. And he's
Yeah,
obviously my
definitely.
number one now, but he also has a lot of character growth.
he
Mhm.
does.
Yep.
And it just, I mean, the Damon that you meet in episode 1 and the Damon at the end are not even remotely
No,
the same people.
Yeah.
no,
I agree.
Now, it bothers me because I stay up late thinking about this kind of stuff. What? He was alive for like 100-something plus years, yet Elena Gilbert is going to change this man.
Who is on? If y'all notice, on none of our lists.
Yep.
She's the main character.
I don't like Elena.
Nobody
Oh.
does. Now,
I
I
like Vampire
love
Elena.
Nina Dobrev.
I was just gonna say I love Nina, and I think she plays the role of Elena really well.
She
Yeah,
does.
she does.
It's
I
the
just
character.
don't like the character.
Well, like the thing is, like Katherine though almost made
Much
my
more
list.
entertaining.
She's on my honorable mentions. Love Katherine.
Because Katherine she knows who she is, she knows
Mhm.
what she is, and she just does it.
Mhm.
Elena is
She's
so
so
back
cool.
and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back. It's just, oh my gosh, make a
Yeah.
decision. And then she's all altruistic one minute and then very selfish the next. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
Damon.
whiplash. It actually makes me the most disappointed I think I ever was in the Vampire Diaries was that last scene with Damon and Elena.
I wish they had just left
It
it
pissed
out,
me
to be
off so
honest.
bad. Like I
Didn't
will
see it,
never,
but I've heard it. I've heard you guys
I
say
so
will
it.
awkward.
never forgive them. I
It's
will
so
never
awkward.
forgive them for that. For making us wait for 2 seasons. And then they go, what?
I don't-
What?
Was it just because the actors were no longer together?
It was because the actors were no longer together and they were fighting.
Can't y'all suck it up for like one episode? Like, I mean, come on. Are you not? I don't know. I agree. I wish they had just skipped that all together and like somehow
Yeah.
just showed them like from a back. Didn't even have to actually be her. Just like look like her, like walking away. Something different would have worked better. in my opinion.
Something. I
I'm
mean,
tired
just,
enough and loopy enough that I just thought they should have had Katherine do it.
That would
You should-
work, right?
Damon ended up with Katherine.
Marina's so funny.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. No.
Won't work.
I didn't
won't
like
work.
Damon for much of the first season because of how big of a jerk face he was.
Yeah.
Especially like what he did to Vicky. I don't like
Mm.
Vicky at all. She's
he did to
whiny
Caroline.
and annoys the crap out of me. Exactly. That was my next
It was
one.
even worse.
But the first one we see him with is Vicky, and then he just is terrible to her, turns her into this vampire, and then lets her loose, doesn't help her. Like she has no idea what's going on. And then he
Yeah.
does the same, he abuses Caroline in that way. Like and Caroline's my favorite female. So I just
pretend that doesn't happen.
I didn't,
Yeah, I get
but
over
I
it pretty
will
fast.
say that first season, even though I didn't, he's the one who made me laugh most of the first
Mhm.
season.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Because
For
I
sure.
just his little quips and like when he's reading Stefan's journal today, I ate a chipmunk. He always made me laugh, even though I
funny.
was so mad at him.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I just told Jeanette before I was Stelena, like hardcore Stelena. But as I was watching recaps for the Vampire Diaries last year, and then I kind of tried to get caught up here, the funniness is outweighing all the other stuff. And
Yes.
you see, there's been a couple times when he has like begrudgingly saved someone. And also, I really enjoy how many times he kills Jeremy. It makes me laugh every time he does it.
Mhm.
Isn't there one point when Elena's like, how many other times have you snapped his neck? And Damon's like,
Yeah. I agree.
I love every time Jeremy dies.
I have a
Not at the
suspicion-
beginning.
Well, no, because you don't know if Jeremy's going to come back at the
Right.
beginning. But once
Yeah.
you know Jeremy's going to come back, there's another scene
Yep.
where he's out. I don't know if it's with Katherine. I feel like it's him, Katherine, and Jeremy. And Jeremy's sitting on the picnic table, and Damon just takes his head and slams it down on the table and keeps walking.
Oh yeah, I know that scene. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
So it makes me laugh. And I have a suspicion if I finished out Vampire Diaries Damon would skyrocket above Stefan.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
he would.
But from where I was, I thankfully stopped just as Stefan was getting into Ripper Stefan. And I think that's actually why I stopped watching Vampire Diaries, because I hate Ripper Stefan. And I loved Stefan's character. So I was real mad
Me and
about
Amanda
it.
both are like,
So I had this image of Stefan being the one who fights for Elena and the one who tries to keep it. And although I don't like Elena,
he does,
again, I read the books first.
yeah.
So even if I don't like what they've done to this character, I still have a loyalty to Elena because of the books.
Yeah.
So Stefan really, really fought to keep her safe, to protect her. He did everything. We're almost to the exclusivity of other people. That would have become a problem. So I didn't like it. So Damon, I think, would become I think I would be a Delana fan if I continued watching. All right. So who's your number 3, Amanda? Or did you want to talk more about your number 1?
No, I mean, I can talk about Damon all day, but we're not going to be here all day.
So who's your number 3?
We've actually already kind of talked about her, but it's Katherine.
Okay.
Elena might not be on my list, but Katherine is, because
I love Katherine.
She is
she made me
entertaining.
laugh a lot.
Yep.
Not meaning to.
And wasn't she the one who helped Damon with Rose at the end?
Yes, reluctantly, but she did.
Yeah, but she did.
She did.
I mean, honestly, Katherine doesn't do anything she doesn't want to do.
Yeah,
so it may have been reluctant, but she still wanted to do it at some level.
I do not blame Katherine for any of this bad stuff she does, because she is a survivalist. She has put herself number 1, and that is how she has survived for so many years, is because she's herself. She's number 1. Now, should you be like that? No, it's selfish. You should care about other people. But for Katherine, it just worked.
No, I agree.
Really, whenever she started aging, that was probably my favorite Katherine
I love
moment.
I did love her as a human. I think she got much funnier as a human.
Whenever her hair started turning gray.
She's always entertaining, and she's always like, it's weird because Katherine is magnetic to watch on the screen.
Yes.
Elena's not, but obviously it's played by the same person.
That's how you know it was the writing and that was not Nina.
Exactly. And so Katherine has always been fun to watch and enjoy. Like, she made me mad a lot, but I was very invested in her storyline because of the way the character was played. And so when she became human, and it's that same scene with Jeremy and Damon, she's a human then, and she's so irritated by having to wait and having to be dependent on them. She's just funny as a human because she's so irritated that she has limitations. And I think it's so entertaining.
I love it. I think that's what made me actually really like Katherine, is
her as a human?
the enjoyment I got out of her being a human.
Yeah.
It just made it all worthwhile.
There's a little joy in watching her suffer.
Yes, it really is. She got her karma.
Yeah.
I know.
I still loved her. She's by far my favorite.
She's fun.
Michaelsons, I guess, are considered a villain, so they're obviously, but besides them, she's my favorite villain from the show for sure.
I'd say that.
She's one of mine.
Who's your number 3, Jeanette?
We just doing that. Mine's Damon as well.
Oh yeah, and then my number 2 is Elijah.
Your number
2, Amanda? I know.
My number 2 was Klaus.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your number
we covered
2
them all.
is Jeanette. Who's your number 2?
Haley.
And then I'm Caroline. Amanda's Klaus, or Amanda is Damon, and Jeanette is Elijah for our number 1. You and the honorable mentions I have are Mason. So just Sheriff Donovan and Mason, not Donovan, Sheriff Forbes.
Sheriff Forbes
and Mason are my 2 honorable mentions. That's it.
I have only one that we didn't mention, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning, and it's Kai Parker.
Oh,
Because he is so, and this is Chris Wood. This is another situation where I mean, this character on paper is like the worst person in the world. I mean, you
really
murdered your entire family. You like tried to kill you did kill one sibling while she's pregnant on her wedding day in front of everyone. You tried to murder other 2 siblings years ago when they were children, like 5 years old. Tried to murder.
Why is he an honorable mention for you?
because he's so funny.
Wait, because it's the same as Damon. He is the funniest character.
He's funnier than Damon.
Way funnier than Damon.
Yes.
Oh crap.
But you hate him.
You hate him, but you don't want him to go away.
And he's
because
not
you
bad
need him
looking.
Oh, he's so gorgeous. I mean, that's not why. I mean, that's honestly not why.
It's not why. He's funny.
He's so, I mean, he is just, well, plus I love him as an actor. He's like the best human being ever. He's married to Melissa Benet or whatever. And after, her traumatic relationship with, isn't that her name? Supergirl.
Oh,
He played Mon-El on Supergirl. I don't know if you watched that or not. I didn't.
No, I didn't watch
never
Supergirl,
did.
but I know who she is because I know she went over there.
Yeah.
She was also on a Taylor Kitsch miniseries.
Oh, which one?
Did you watch the
Yeah,
Terminal
once,
List yet?
No, I haven't yet. She was on Waco.
Sometime, Maureen, just look up like Kai like scenes and like he'll have you dying. Like
Yeah. Him getting
And
out of
he-
the car, I think, was the funniest one for me. That
Like,
would
all the
always cracks me up.
interactions with Damon and Bonnie.
Amanda, do you have any honorable mentions?
No, we spoke about all mine.
Okay. All right. Well, that was it for our Vampire Diaries top 10. And, we have our Facebook group, Vampire Diaries Salvatore Family Fan Club. So do not forget to join that. So our next episode will be One Tree Hill, top 10 villains. And this is who we are the best at being villains. So we already did top 10 moments with Nathan Scott on our One Tree Hill podcast. I think we had another One Tree Hill podcast, didn't we? Or is this our second one?
Didn't you want me to do a Brooke
We
one?
have.
Oh, we did. Yep, there's a Brooke one. So tune in for that. And we have, after that, is another Stranger Things episode. So that's exciting. I love talking Stranger Things now. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to join our Facebook group. Come on over there and let's talk. It's never too late to watch the Vampire Diaries or the originals. They're on Netflix. You can binge them all. So just go
Watch
do
them
it.
again.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm gonna start the originals tonight. If you
I
guys
might as well.
start the originals with me, and then let's talk
Sure.
about it on our Vampire Diaries group. Okay, so we'll see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.